Lawrence, I'm sorry I'm a little bit late.
You're good.
I was in hair and makeup.
I wish I had that same problem. I wish I had
Maybe
that
the
same
makeup.
problem.
Maybe the makeup.
Maybe the
No,
makeup.
no.
Well,
I'm psyched to be here, man.
me too.
I know
man.
it's my own house. Everybody, I'm sure, is going to know that
Yeah.
if they've seen other pictures. But I'm psyched to have you here, I should say, man.
Yeah.
So thanks for reaching out to me.
Yeah, of course.
I'm honored to do this type of stuff, and I've heard great things about you, and I'm just genuinely excited to be here.
Well, I'm glad, man. I can't lie. I went through your social media and I was like, all right, let me try to see what this guy is about. Because
Yep.
the second I finished talking to Rob,
Sure, Toro.
yeah, Rob Toro,
Right. Yep, great guy.
he's like, yo, I got a guy you should talk to, and it was instantly you.
Sure.
And then I'm talking to Baltazar,
Yep.
and he's like, hey, I have a guy. Like I didn't even ask him. He hit me up and he's like, yo, you got to talk to Chris.
I'm
I
flattered,
was like,
man.
yeah. So genuine pleasure to be here, man.
And Sabor too.
Yeah, well, yeah, Sabor. So
Good people,
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
You surround yourself
amazing.
with some good people, man. Those three people.
I'm very fortunate to be in a circle of people that you know, man.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Rob's great. Not to get diverted, but Rob's great. It's a testament to he and I help each other out a lot in a bunch of different areas. And if it wasn't for Rob, I wouldn't have met Sabor, who helped me find this house.
Okay.
And so I'm very grateful to Rob, and not to mention the work he's put in at this house and in my other properties. He's been great. And Baltazar was awesome. He's DJ'd a party at this house for a kick-ass party.
Nice.
And I met him through Rob because he DJ'd one of Rob's Christmas parties. It's just it's crazy how it works and how people help people makes me really happy.
Yeah, man. That's how I met Rob. Was I did a DJ party.
Oh, is that
him.
right?
For Baltazar hit me up. He's like, "Yo, can you do this event?" And I'm watching Rob. The first thing I noticed, so you know, is his fucking suit.
Of course, dude.
He comes to the door, and I was like, "That's the fucking boss right there." I was like, "That is the boss."
And that's
the
it,
guy.
man. That's
You know?
it. That's exactly it, man. Those suits open doors, man.
Yeah.
They open doors. The right suits, the right clothing can open doors, can build confidence, and it got him noticed.
Yeah,
right?
instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly. And then he comes over and he's a fucking sweetheart, man.
He's a good
so
guy.
nice. He's so
such a
down to
good guy.
earth.
He knows how to treat people.
Yeah. And at the end of the party, after I watch him like mingle with everybody and
course.
whatnot. And at the end,
He's a politician, bro.
Oh,
He knows
bro,
what he-
yeah, he's so good. He's so good at what he does. Absolutely.
I love it.
So, I'm just thankful to be here. I'm thankful for
Absolutely,
your time.
bro.
And my question to you, because you were
Yes.
like, "Yo, man, let's put something on." And the second I put this on, I was like, "Yo, I already feel
Right? See what I'm saying?
feel."
And that's cut for me, right? Let's just be full transparency.
Yeah.
That's cut for me. So imagine if it was actually cut for you,
Right.
Right? How nice it would fit. But I'm glad you can appreciate. You're appreciating the fabric, which is nice. Thank you.
Yeah, oh,
Thanks for saying
absolutely.
that, man.
Like the whole feel of it all.
Sure,
It's like
yeah.
when you were putting it on, and I was like,
Yep.
"Well, this is
This is what happens, man.
Hey,
This
it-
thing
understandable.
This thing doesn't stop.
That's money calling, guys.
This
That's
thing
money.
doesn't stop, man. All right, sorry about that.
You're good. So,
But no, I'm glad you like the jacket. It looks good on you.
thank you.
Yeah, it
thank
looks good on you.
Yeah. So let me ask you this.
Ask
'cause
away.
this was my first question. I was
Yeah,
like,
sure.
what do you see when you see a suit?
The first thing I'll look at is the fit. Fit reigns supreme. Okay, I always tell people that fit reigns supreme. If your price point is that of Target or Express, because that's where I started out, right? And when I first got my first job, I was buying suits. I'm not kidding, at Target and Express, right? And I quickly became very good friends with a tailor to get those tailored to me, and ended up ended up paying more in tailoring than I did for the suit, right? And then you start to make a couple bucks, and you then can appreciate stretch fabrics and the quality of fabric and things like drape in how long a suit lasts and different types of production and all that can go into a suit. So to answer your question, one of the first things I notice on a suit is the fit, right? And that starts with the shoulders. Like how well does it fit in the shoulders? Because that's going to dictate how the jacket fits and how well it fits in the seat of the pants. And as you get older, things start to change with fit. You know what I mean? Like I'm no spring chicken like I once was. And
Bro, you lifted like you're a fucking spring chicken. I see your videos. I'm like, yo, this dude, man.
oh, stop. But I've come to I call it the Tom Brady fit. If you ever watch Tom Brady in a suit, and this is not new to him, ever since he's been wearing suits. Now his suits are Tom Ford, okay? So yes, they're amazing fabric, but somebody else could wear a Tom Ford suit and want to paint it on. Tom Brady can appreciate things what I call drape, Okay, and that's how a garment hangs off of the body. And styles, trends, I should say, come and go. And right now you're starting to see, yeah, sure, the big fit, right? But then you're also starting to see things like drape come back into the picture, and it's interesting to see. Not everything's as tight as it once was a couple of years ago, which I like. And it's fit, to answer your question. It's fit. It's how does it fit? How does it drape? The short jacket days are kind of gone, and you're starting to see more of a focus on fit and drape. A less is more type approach. Not everything needs to be tight. Leave a little something to the imagination, and have things drape and fit nicely, I think is an understatement in and of itself. Not everything. A lot of guys and women want it tight, 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 and I get that. Like there's a time and place for everything. There's still some.
The suit you posted today, the green suit,
Dude.
Bro, what an amazing suit.
Her name is Carrie, and she came to me I got to give her a lot of credit for that. She came to me, and she had a vision. I want a green, no, well, I take it back. She saw a green suit on me and was like, I want that fabric. But then she had the vision with the fit and the cut. And
the cut's nice,
yes,
man. The cut's real nice.
And she did it in such an elegant yet sexy way, where she's like, all right, this is my vision. I want a vest, a jacket, and a pant. Well, also known as a three-piece suit. But I want it, that's what she came to me with. And I said, and she's like, I want green. I was like, what about this fabric? She's like, oh my God, I love that fabric. And I love the gold buttons, this and that, green and gold, timeless, classic, very Rolex. And I was like, awesome, let's do it. And then there's so many different vest styles. So I was like, let's do it. It's what's called a gorge, and that's the depth of the vest. I was like, let's make it sexy. Let's go with a 3-button, low-cut vest. And she's like, I want to wear nothing under it. I'm like, awesome. So that tells me where I got to cut it. We obviously don't want things to reveal that shouldn't be revealed. So we cut it in a way that's sophisticated, and she told me where she was going to wear it. And then she's like, I want the wide leg pant. And I was like, I'm in. This is going to be sick. So we worked together on the project, and we got it done for her, and she came to my office to try it on. This is the most rewarding part of my entire job, is when somebody comes and tries on the garment, and I watch them. Before I look at the fit of the suit, I look at their face, because that's going to tell you more than the fit. Because fit is subjective. What I think might fit somebody, they might not think fits them, right? It's subjective, right? They could think it's too tight. I could think it's too big. You could go in either way, right? So it's ultimately they're paying. I'm there to advise and to be the expert and to help and to design, but they're the ones paying, so they need to like it. So I look at her face before I give her the elevator eyes and look at the suit. I looked at her face, and she was stoked, man. She was so happy. It shows in the pictures. Yes,
it shows in the pictures.
And so confident. And she loved it. And she thanked me, and it's given me confidence, because the women's line is relatively new, right? The women's line is about 8 months old, so it's new, and I've approached it with some uncertainty for sure, and it's come back with glowing reviews. And that was a big moment for me, because it said, wow, not only was it a women's 3-piece suit, which is unusual, and then also the cut was very different than the normal things that we've done.
It's sexy, classy. Like
well said.
That's exactly
well
how
said,
I felt
Lawrence.
when I was looking at that.
Thank you for saying that. Very well said. And she loved it, and I was like, Carrie, look, we got to photograph this thing. We have to. This needs to be photographed professionally. We got to get this done. So I called my photographer, and we set it up, and she came here and we shot it. It was on. She's got the tattoo, the half sleeve, the tattoo sleeve. I was like, she's a badass. She works in law, and I was like, you're just a badass. She's a single mom. Her daughter was here during the photo shoot. It was very cool, man. It was a very cool moment to see her do that. It's what I call a client spotlight, and it was awesome, man. Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool.
It was very well put together.
Thank you, man.
When I saw it this morning, I was like, man, this guy don't miss. Like, he don't fucking miss, man.
I try not to. Yeah, we have our mistakes. Look, we do have our mistakes, and we oftentimes need alterations and whatnot for sure. But clients come back. Clients keep coming back for sure. Very understanding clients, very good clients, very loyal clients. I'm very fortunate for that. I work hard for that. But yeah, man, that was a big win. Yeah. That was a big win for us. Yeah.
So when a client is trying to book you, like, are they doing it through IG? Like, how are they making their appointment? Like, how are they doing that to get to you?
It's funny, man. Thank you for asking. This day and age, it's hard to keep up with all the vehicles that people can get in touch with you through, right? You got your LinkedIn, you got your Facebook, you got your Instagram, You get your text, you get your email, you get your website inquiries. It's like it's all coming from different angles. So try and keep up in all different hours too, right? So to try to keep up is a job in and of itself. But people can book in any of those ways, right? But the question I'm often asked is like, how do I actually get an appointment with Chris? Like I'm always asked that. And it's relatively straightforward. It's one of two ways. I keep my office in the Seaport. That's private appointment only. And we book that at a time that works for the client. And we are rather flexible with that. We sometimes work nights. Very rarely do we work weekends because I got my little daughter and I want to have fun with her. So I try.
Dad first.
Yes, I try my best to carve out time with her, and I have a social life as well. So, but most of the time we try and get as flexible as we can. And then the other way to book an appointment is we can go to the client's home or office. We can get on a plane. That does come with an additional fee and all of that, but we can get creative. So it's usually, at least the first appointment is at the office in the Seaport. They come in, get measured, see the whole experience. All the fabrics are there, the mannequins, the garments. It really helps the client that way. But then we can make home or office calls, and we've done orders through text and all that. We have remote clients who maybe they're in California or they're in another part of the world, and they send me the measurements, and we can produce things that way. So it's all different types of ways, but the big two is Seaport or we go to your home or office.
Nice.
Yep.
So like, what's your favorite type of fabric? Like, so like, what are you wearing now? Like, what kind of fabric is that?
This is one of my favorites. This is Dormay. Shout out to my friend Luke Mays. This is a mill out of England, okay, and it's a stretch fabric. It's one of my favorites, and it's a classic navy blue suit. And I wore this on purpose today because a buddy of mine called me yesterday, and he said something to me, and he said, I have this client that I want to introduce to you, but I've been hesitant to because like I'm worried if I show him your stuff, he's gonna think everything's so fashion forward. And it got me thinking.
Meaning like you're not just doing like a simple, like
if you look at a lot of my Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And this is on purpose. A lot of it is like that outside of the box stuff, a brown and orange, a brown and orange plaid. You'll see some stuff coming. The fur jacket, the window panes. The more louder fabrics, the wider leg that's kind of coming in, you'll see me rock some of those. And I do that to show clients, because I feel like, and this is wrong of me, but oftentimes it's easy to envision what a navy blue, a black, or a gray suit is going to look like. For me, if I'm the client, that's easy to envision. What clients struggle to envision is looking at a fabric book and looking by, let's say, a 4-inch by 4-inch swatch. Like, oh man, I can't imagine what that's going to look like blown up. Well, I can, right? So then I blow it up and I make a suit from it and showcase that, right? The different stuff. But what this client was telling me was like, someone looks at your Instagram, well, oh yeah, he's got some really cool suits and some really cool fits, and I like what he does. But I'm more the classic. I'm more the Tom Brady.
Okay.
If you ever watch Tom Brady, it's a lot of solid.
I mean, if you saw him at the Super Bowl, you see.
He looked unbelievable, right?
He looked real sharp.
Gray suit, very simple, white shirt, black tie, classic.
Took the jacket off halfway through, and you just saw,
no belt, right? He had the side tabs going, which I'm a big fan of. And he just looked really.
I did notice that a few times on
you. I don't wear belts. Yeah, he just looked really, really classy, and I'm like, well, all right, I gotta do a better job of showcasing that. So when I'm thinking of getting dressed for this tonight, I'm like, I'm gonna wear a solid navy blue suit. I like to dress very monochromatically, right? So you'll notice like everything I have on is blue, from the shoes to the pants to the shirt to the jacket to the watch dial to the sunglasses, right? I find it appealing to the eye, sure, when it's just all one color. But I also tell guys it's the easiest way to get dressed. Just wear the same color, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Would a white shirt work? Would I be called out for wearing a white shirt? Absolutely not. Black and blue, I hate that. But to each their own, right? That's the beauty of styles. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Sure, yeah.
But I like to tell guys, you'll very rarely see me wear more than 2 colors at once.
How do you keep them from clashing? Like for me, my struggle has been like...
There's certain shades that it gets really hard. Green is one of them. It gets hard to wear a lot of different greens. There's an Italian way of dressing called sprezzatura.
Okay.
And what that means is casual elegance. Looking good without trying hard.
Sure.
Okay? So like the Italians dress in a very I don't give a fuck attitude.
Sure.
Right? They put it on and it works, man. It works. So I try to incorporate. Sometimes I'm guilty of trying too hard, right? But like
But that's your job.
Exactly.
That's your job, man.
Right. So like I try and dress in a way, in a format that is just like, dude, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, like, that's okay. You know what I mean? It's so I try and tell my clients that, look, not everything needs to be absolutely pinpointed perfect. Like, just let it go, man. You get a stain or whatever, like, just roll with it, bro. Just roll with it. So that's the Sprezzatura mentality that I try and educate people on. And some people are super OCD about it, and I get it, because I can be OCD about a lot of different things as well. But I tell people that, Sprezzatura, man, just let it roll. Yeah.
Nice. I see, for me, the way you're saying it now completely is different than what I was told. So like, I like your way of explaining it, because for me it was always like belt and shoes should match.
Sure,
or
of
shirt
course.
and shoes should match, like that type of.
Sure. And I still subscribe to that. Like
Okay.
I still subscribe to the belt should match the shoes, but I'll go a step further. If your pants fit, why do you need a belt?
Okay.
Right? And I know
I always think people are just trying to show off the brand of the
you
belt.
just took the words out of my mouth. So the whole movement with the Louis Vuitton Gucci belt, which in my opinion is wildly overdone, right? And that's a flex, if you will. And I get it.
That's exactly what that is.
And look, I have my flexes too. Don't I love to flex. I know how to flex, but like there's certain, again, as I get older, I've actually been selling off a bunch of that stuff, the Louis Vuitton crossbody, and I used to have everything used to, Balmain or whatever. And I'm not talking negatively about those who are still into that.
It's
I
just
get
the
it.
phase.
I'm now, dude. I'm over 40 now, so I'm in a different phase of my life now where I've come to really appreciate the subtle flex, right? What I mean by a subtle flex is like, bro, if you got side tabs on your pants in lieu of that Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Tom Ford, Gucci belt, that's the flex, bro, is the side tabs. Well, shit, man, he's got custom pants on. I'll have guys come to me, make a custom suit, and then say they want belt loops because they just got a sick Hermes, Tom Ford belt, and they want to ride with it. My wife got me this belt. Dude, I get it. Cool. Awesome. I love it. My daughter got me this belt. Like, awesome, dude. Go with it. I'm not going to fight you on it. Like, go with it. I totally get it. My initials are Chris Cuozzo, which is CC, which is the Chanel logo. So I did buy one belt, which was a Chanel belt, and I have one pair of pants. It's a black pair of pants. So once in a while, you might see me wear a black suit with the Chanel belt because CC, it's my initial, so I get off on that. It's also my daughter's. It's also my daughter's initial, so I get that. If your last name begins with H and you want to get the Hermes belt, dude, I would too. I would. You know what I'm saying? So there's certain ways there. Like I get it. But I like the side tab look. It's less is more, right? It's a clean look, and if the pants fit, like, why do you need a belt? Just rock it like that, and there's a cost savings there, right? Because if you get a really cool pair of green shoes, man, good luck finding a belt to match those, right? And so now you're probably talking a custom belt. Now you might be talking $1,000 on a belt. Well, why not just go side tabs? You never have to chase a belt. It's one less thing to put on. It's one less thing to worry about. It's Sprezzatura. I don't need a belt. I don't care. Boom, go. It's a sign of custom, right? It's just like the functioning buttonholes. Like this is another flex, right? Like the fact that these are unbuttoned is to show people that this is a custom suit, because you can't unbutton these if it's a ready-made suit.
Okay.
Ready-made suit doesn't come with functioning buttonholes because it's easier to shorten and lengthen a jacket. Okay. Back in the day, they were called surgeon cuffs. So you could unbutton, the surgeons could unbutton them, roll them up, and perform surgery.
Gotcha.
Okay? So like this, and then leaving it unbuttoned is a flex to let people know, like, yeah, dude, I'm rocking a custom suit. You know what I mean? So there's these subtle flexes that I've come to appreciate, and I like that a little bit more than Louis Vuitton belt or Balmain across my chest. So it comes with age. But again, man, that's the beauty of fashion, of style. You do what you want. It's an art to me, right? You do what you want with it. I'm not looking to fight the guy who's got the Louis Vuitton belt on, dude. Good for you, bro. You could afford that, and that looks awesome in you, and that's your style, dude. High five, man. What's up? That's awesome. I love that. You like it? That's great. That's you. He might look at me like, dude, where's your belt? Like, I get that. Like, totally. Nobody's wrong, right? What I tend to like is this, but that's the beauty of art, and the beauty of it is in the beholder, right? It's just like, you might think so-and-so is super attractive. I might not. I might think she's super attractive. You might not. It's in the beauty. The beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And that goes beyond people's looks. But like, the car, whatever you're into, get what you like, wear what you like. I love seeing some crazy outfits. Just as much as I love Tom Brady's look, which I love, I think Beckham the same, like I love those guys. Tom Ford has a uniform, okay? Tom Ford is white shirt, black suit, that's his uniform. He has perfected it. French cuff shirts, they're elongated, they're longer than they normally are. Like he shows a lot of cuff, like he's very aggressive with it. But dude, that dude's got a look, and he nails it, and it's very easy for Tom Ford to wake up in the morning and know what to wear, especially if he's going to an event or something like that. Like, he's always in the same thing, man. And I can appreciate that. It's so easy because, dude, there are mornings when I go down to that closet and I'm like, dude, it's what do they call it? Paralysis by analysis?
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, what am I going to do? What am I going to wear? Right? And there's just so much out there. So what I typically like to do is like, I'm going to pick one item. It might be a watch. And I get influenced. Like I might have saw a commercial. I might have watched the Super Bowl and I saw this and I saw this and I was like, all right, I could pull off a look like that. Like this was influenced by Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's not exactly what he was wearing, not even close, but like just the simplicity and the classic nature of it, right? So it's as simple as that, but you can make fashion very complex, which I like that too. Like there's some crazy outfits that I've pulled off in my day, and then when it gets into wintertime, when you start layering sweaters and top coats and scarves and gloves and the glasses, you can have a lot of fun with it, man. But I think at the end of the day, as I get older, and I heard this when I was younger, and I didn't pay attention to it as much. But
as we all do. We all do.
Classic always wins, man. It always wins. And when I'm designing a tuxedo for a guy, I tell him that. Think long term with this. Don't go super trendy with it. Think long term with this, especially if we're doing a classic black tuxedo, because, man, unless you gain 50 to 100 pounds, this is going to fit you for the next 50 years, right? So think about that when you're designing it, and oftentimes they'll take my advice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what the fuck you're talking about, Mike. Like, there's no way you
doing
don't think. It
sure.
shows in everything
Sure,
that you do.
it.
So let me ask you this. Let's rewind back to the day you decide you're going to start doing suits.
Sure. Yes.
What's that like?
I've always been heavily into fashion.
Okay.
Right. It obviously wasn't always suits because you're not wearing suits in high school and college and all of that. So I took a job in 2005, relatively fresh out of college. And it was business casual, right? But I don't want to be a wallflower.
Sure.
I don't want to fall in line. So if it's business casual, all right, we're in an office space here. Like, I'm competitive. I want to get ahead. How can I be the best? I'm the new guy on the block. I'm young. It's a new company, and like I need to
you're
make.
Probably early 20s.
Oh
right?
yeah, 23, 24. Yeah, 23. I got to make a name for myself here, right? So all right, how can I stand out above the rest? Well, I'm going to show up in a suit, right? So I didn't have a bunch of money at all. I was living at home with my parents, and I was like, okay, but I can afford a suit from Target. And I've been going to seamstresses and tailors for a very long time. And so I had a couple of them that I knew very well. And so I would go and buy these suits off the rack and then go and get them tailored. And I'd show up to work in these suits, and man, I just loved how it made me feel. It's like Superman, Clark Kent, that whole thing, right? Like when you transform. Like I can be having maybe a not so good morning, right? Maybe I spilt my daughter's cereal, or maybe something stupid happened, right? It's rainy and cold in January or February, and I'm just like, oh, dude. I put on a suit that gives me that oomph, that emphasis, that confidence, right? It might be something a little bit louder, whatever it is, it'll completely change my day. And I've heard that feedback from clients as well, how it can elevate and make you feel so much better and so much more confident. So to answer your question, the suit is it's like the armor, right? It's like you're the knight and you show up. And I'm telling you, man, I've heard it and I've seen it firsthand. What suits can do, and beyond suits, right? I'm not trying to say it's just suits, but what looking good and dressing good can do for a human being. What I mean by that is, whether you want to get the girl, whether you want to get the guy, whether you want to get the job, whether you want to get the confidence, you want to impress your kids, whatever it is you want to do, if you dress for it, dude, you're like 80% there, man. Mm-hmm. You're 80% there. Mm-hmm. When you walk into a room wearing something, what you're wearing speaks before you even open your goddamn mouth, right? You already said so much. And I get it. You got to dress for the part. Like if you're going for an interview, you don't want to wear a bright yellow suit, right? You want to come in understated. You don't want to be better dressed than the boss. Like there's rules to it for sure. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But you dress and you show up, and you're looking like $1 million. Well, first of all, Deion Sanders always said, "Look good, play good," right? And then you get paid good. So like if you look good and you're going to play good. In all areas of life, business, in a relationship, at the restaurant, I've had doors held for me that shouldn't have been held because there's too long of a distance. But they'll keep holding that door for me because they see the guy in the suit coming, right? And I'm far from perfect, but what that suit can do for me, it can elevate. It can elevate. It's opened up so many doors for me. It's opened up so many doors for my clients, making them feel like $1 million in their wedding day. Mm-hmm. Like, dude. Mm-hmm. That to me it's so rewarding. It's so incredibly rewarding what a suit or a well-fitting blazer or a bomber jacket or a top coat, you want to talk boss, a top coat can do for somebody, and how to dress for inclement weather, how to dress for a wedding in Mexico, or how to dress for Banff, Iceland. Like I don't care where you're going, man. Like I can get you there. I can get you there, and it's a good club to have in my bag. I feel very good about having that and being able to help others in that way and be an expert in the industry. I feel like I've earned that. Going on year 16 and doing this.
Nice. Congrats on that.
I appreciate that, man. And it feels really, really good. I feel like I gain more and more knowledge and have more and more depth. And it's just been it's been good, man. It's been an awesome ride.
So let's go back to you walk in, you got a Target suit that's tailored, that's suited for you. Like, walk me through that experience of like, that was the moment, or like what transpired from there?
Yeah, that was the moment, right? And I have a rather extreme behavior and extreme attitude. I'm either going to do something or I'm not going to do something. I don't golf. Okay. I don't golf because I'm not good at it. And
you and I both.
Yeah. Okay. And so and if I did decide to get good at it, okay, it's going to require a lot of practice and a lot of attention, and I'm going to get consumed by it, okay? And I'm already consumed with a lot of other things.
Sure.
My daughter, my business, my fitness. I'm very consumed by those things, right? I decided to take on tennis a couple months ago, and that's been fun to learn. I just tried skiing last weekend for the first time. Like that's been fun to learn, right? But I got to be careful about what I try because I know my addictive personality, and I'll get consumed by something, and by next winter I'll own a ski house and skis and all that, right? And I don't want to do that. Okay, I don't want to do that. And this is not a flex, but having a beach house in this is already overwhelming the shit out of me, right? I don't know how these people have all these homes and all. Like I can't even. So I don't want that.
Sure.
Right. So I got consumed by suits. I know I'm talking in circles. I got consumed by suits. So that Target suit led me to the next level of suiting. Right now, I'm trying to think what it might be.
For that same job?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
No, I left that job and then went to another job. I worked in the subprime mortgage industry, which went under in like 06, 07. Sure. So that led me to make a move into the consulting space where the wardrobe requirements were even less. In the summertime, you were allowed to wear shorts and a polo.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, yeah, that ain't me. Right. So I'm like, this is great.
I'm not gonna do what everybody else is doing.
Right. This is great. I'm gonna double down, and I'm not even gonna go business casual. I'm gonna still rock the suits. Right. And so I did that, and then it might elevate. I'm just trying to think of what it might have been back then. It might have been like Brooks Brothers or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't, but it was at that level. 2008 or 9, I got introduced to custom suits.
Okay.
By Scott Disick. Remember Scott Disick, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, right?
I'm not too familiar.
Yeah, okay. You have to... He was married to one of the Kardashian girls.
Okay, all right,
okay?
Got you.
And he would rock these kick-ass suits on the Kardashian show. And I was like, Man, he had the slick back hair.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about. Yes, now I got you.
He's kind of arrogant. A lot of people don't like him.
Now I know who you're talking about.
I forget which. Maybe it was Khloe Kardashian. I think it was the middle one.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Courtney. No, I think it was Courtney. I think it was Courtney. Whatever. I don't know.
It was one of them. Yeah.
I don't know too much about them. I paid more attention to what he's wearing than right, which is not the basis of the show. But and I was like, I need that. I looked into getting custom suits, man. I found a guy who came to the house and made me a custom suit, and I was like, this guy was like, dude, I've never seen somebody so prepared for this appointment in my life. I had suits there, like for him to measure. I was like, but I like it like this. But he's like, this is great. You're making my job so much easier.
Nice.
And I became obsessed. And it was a very expensive habit. My first suit was a 3-piece navy blue pinstripe suit, and then it came, and then
pinstripe, huh?
Pinstripe, yeah.
Okay.
Because Scott Disick, that's what he had.
Okay.
And with a pink paisley lining. And then, you get to put the shirts and the ties. I was like, this is a game changer. And that's when it started.
So you noticed a change in your consulting business as you were doing this? You noticed how clients were treating you, how they were referring, like
For
this
sure.
is what you were noticing?
Yeah, and I got promoted a couple times there.
Okay.
But it was how it made me feel, man.
Sure.
Going to a wedding and knowing that this suit was made for me. It's got my name on the inside. Like it just felt so special. Yeah. I felt like $1,000,000 when I put that thing on. I left that consulting business in 2012 and went to work on Newberry Street for a custom clothing company.
Okay.
It was quite a bit of a step backwards in terms of salary.
What were your feelings like doing that? Like knowing you were going for passion versus, dollars at that point?
Certainly nervous.
Okay.
Right? And I knew it was, let's call it 2. I knew it was 2 steps backwards to go 5 steps forward. I knew I had to be there for 2 to 3 years. I looked at it as my fashion school.
Okay.
I said, I can either pay to go to fashion school at night. I don't know how I'm going to fit this in. Because I had my 9-to-5 job. I was, at the time, I told you about my obsessiveness. At the time, I was obsessed with triathlons and marathons. Okay.
I'm doing half marathons now, setting up for a marathon.
Good for you. Yeah. And that can be a part-time job in and of itself, right? And I'm a relatively young kid. I like to go out and have a couple socials and do my thing as well. So there was a lot on my plate at the time. I did not have a daughter yet. So
this is late 20s?
Yeah, no, this was, 2012. I think I turned 30.
Okay.
Yeah. And I took a step backwards financially to do that. But I knew I could make it work. So I did. And I was there for 3 years. And I soaked it all up. Instead of going to fashion school, they paid me to learn the business. I left, took that experience and knowledge with me. And I started this LLC of mine in 2009. Okay, that's why I say 16 years. In 2009, I started the LLC and built a website and had a little business called Dressed by Chris Cuozzo. Okay, and we did semi-custom shirts, polos, t-shirts, cardigans for men, women, and kids. Okay, it was the definition of a side hustle. Like, bro, the first year it might have brought in $1,000. Okay, it was to friends and family and stuff like that. And when the money came in, it would go right back into the business.
Sure.
It was really cool and interesting. I met my seamstress and tailors along the way from doing that, and I learned a ton. But it was a side hustle. So in order to grow that side hustle into what it is today, I was like, I'm going to go work in the industry and learn more, and then apply that to this business and blow up the LLC and blow it up in a good way.
Right.
So I did that. 2015, I left, and I said to myself, all right.
So 2009 you start the LLC.
Yes.
2012 you start working there.
Yes, I was there till 15.
15.
So now we're in 15.
You now branch out.
We're now in 2015. I branched out.
Okay.
And I said to myself, all right, I got to bring in $10,000 in revenue a month in order to afford my bills. Okay, my car, my daughter's daycare, housing, all of that.
That would also pay for the business itself, or is that just personal?
No, everything. That would pay. I'm sorry. That would pay for it. The business, like I didn't have a storefront or anything like that. It was
no major overhead.
Exactly. Almost zero overhead. Right. I would get the garments made and I would go to the guy's house. The garments would ship to me. They'd be steamed in my daughter's bathroom.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Putting them on hangers and garment bags at like 12 at night. I had to do it in the bathroom so that the smoke alarm wouldn't go off because the steam would set off the smoke alarm. So I'd have to go in her bathroom after I put her to bed and handled all the rest of the business stuff. And it was wild. It was wild. Anyways, the first client, whose name is George, my Greek buddy, and I went to his house. Bro, I didn't really know what I was doing. Like, I didn't really know, like, I'm using this thing called Square. Back then, you had to plug it into your phone, right? I probably had iPhone 10. Whatever iPhone was out then, -2 is what I had, because even today I'm rocking a 14 maybe, right? Like, so I'm always 2 iPhones behind, because I'm not good with that technology stuff. I can whip up a soup, but I'm not good with technology.
Sure.
Don't ask me to get on a Zoom call, I'll freeze. So I'm trying to figure this Square thing out. I'm shaking, okay? Because, dude, the transaction was $13,000. Okay. So remember, I need to bring in $10,000 a month in revenue to make this thing work.
Sure.
And the first client gives me $13,000. I'm like, oh my God.
Must have been surreal.
I'm shaking because I don't know how to swipe this guy's fucking credit card. All right. So I'm like, I gotta get on the Wi-Fi. I don't know. I look unprofessional. I don't know it was Wi-Fi. I'm like, oh my, I'm starting to sweat. I'm getting a headache.
That's awesome, bro. You're sitting here, you're like, oh, make people feel confident.
He's like, and I'm like, is he gonna? All the worst case scenarios. Is he gonna back out?
Yeah. That's the biggest fear.
Of course. And I'm like, oh my God. This was I don't know, maybe it was September, October, and so we got the credit card to go in, and he came in, and he loved it, and he's still a very good friend and client today, and it gave me a massive sigh of relief. Right, because I was like, dude, if worst case scenario, and I don't sell anything for the next 6 weeks, I'm going to be okay, right? And he did that, and it was awesome. I'll never, ever forget that. And then all these other clients were like, hey, I want to have you down to my house. I'm going to have like 10 to 12 buddies over. And that was like a $25,000 night. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? Like, no, legit, what the fuck is going on? This wasn't supposed to be like this.
Yeah.
Okay? And, bro, I get hungry. When I see a big pie, like, my mouth is going to open up bigger than you could even ever fucking imagine, right? Like, it can get bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And one of my downfalls is, like, it's never enough, bro. And I know our friend Rob Toro suffers from this as well.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. But
I understand
it's never enough, man. Mm-hmm. Make me president of the United States, which will never happen. That ain't enough. What else is there?
What's after that? Yeah.
So I learned at my previous job about a Black Friday sale. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we created these Black Friday deals and whatnot, and like then on Black Friday, I'm bringing in like $60,000 in revenue from my house, like selling these deals through text and phone, and just taking the deals in. I sell the deals, and then you come redeem them whenever you want. And I'm like, this is wild. This is beyond beyond any dream I could ever have. Like, this was not supposed to happen like this, and it did. And I was like, all right, this is no longer a hobby. This is no longer a side hustle. This is a legitimate business. Now, the LLC was in shape, everything like that. And I learned, and I put the right people in place to help me with things like QuickBooks. Because, dude, this is, again, I can sell, and I'm a people person. I get along nicely with people. But, like, there's certain things that I'm not good at. There's a lot of things I'm not good at. And, like, QuickBooks and the financial piece, and got to hire a good CPA, like, I learned to put those people in place.
Right, building the team.
The team, right? And I'm fortunate to know a lot of good people. I have a very good Rolodex, even back then, to help me out with that stuff. I have a good friend, Matt Garso, who just this morning, we're on the phone, and I spit out, we catch up for like half an hour, and then I spit out the numbers from January of last month, and he enters them into QuickBooks. Very old school. We used to meet in person every time, and then COVID came, and we were like, because he's up in New Hampshire, we're like, why have we always been meeting in person? It's been such an inconvenience. Like, we just do this through the phone. So, like, I'll spit it's good for us to catch up, and I spit the numbers through the phone, and, you know, he reminds me of some things I can do better, and this and that, and hey, watch your spending here, watch your spending there, and he keeps
as
me
every
honest.
good
Yeah,
CPA will.
Exactly. he keeps me on my toes, and it's good for me. But I'm still in it. Like, I can see the transaction. I don't just like give him the bank statement and say, hey, throw this into QuickBooks, because that wouldn't give me that. I wouldn't have my hand on the pulse as much as I should, right? So I'm glad he does that, and it keeps me, something I talk a lot about, it keeps me very accountable. So did I answer your question?
Kind of.
What was the question?
You're good. I
get so sidetracked, man. I'd love to talk.
Yeah, I will. Listen, man, I'm here for the conversation, so I will go with it, you know?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, right? Like, as you've been building this company, is there certain core values you've kept to kind of help yourself build the business to make sure you never stray too far away from what means the most to you, or like how did you develop that?
You know, and it's easy to get away from it, right? Because there's a lot of distractions in life. There's a lot of distractions. I don't have a boss, and I don't have a wife. And when you start to make a couple bucks, and you don't have those things, you can get very easily distracted, right? My father always tells me, and I tattooed this quote on me. The tattoos is another subject we should touch on. I tattooed this on me last year. Surround yourself with good people and good things will happen. I've somehow become very good friends with a lot of people in the sober community. And I was at a Super Bowl party this past Sunday. What's today? Tuesday?
Yes.
2 days ago, I was at a Super Bowl party. And the guy who owns the home and his wife are both sober, right? And they hang out with a lot of sober people. Makes complete sense, right? And I'm not so I drink, right? I limit myself. I keep it to the weekends. And I drank Friday and Saturday night, somewhat heavily. I was on vacation up in Vermont on a little ski thing, right? So I drank more than I normally might have because I didn't have to drive and I was staying in a hotel and I was on a quasi vacation. To go to that party Sunday night and I got to be honest. If it was a party where everybody was drinking, I might have drank too. And guess what? I got my trainer at 6 a.m. on Monday. Whether I'm hungover or I'm not hungover, I got that trainer at 6 a.m. on Monday. Okay? And the Super Bowl is a late night, whether you drink or don't drink, right? So
one of the biggest social gatherings of the year.
Right. So let's say there was 20 people there. I don't think one single person was drinking. And I fucking love that. I love surrounding myself with that. So many of my friends, men, women, have gone down because they've had to.
Sure.
Right?
It's part of the social setting there.
Exactly, right. And to hang out with them and not drink and wake up the next day and fire on all fucking cylinders, man, that felt so good. So my buddy whose house we were at, the next day, he goes, my trainer's name is Coach Daniel, whom he knows. And he's like, dude, you went to Daniel Monday morning? I'm like, yeah, why? And he's like, dude, what time did you get home? I was like, I don't know, like 11 from your house? He's like, oh man, that's crazy. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I've had some Thursday night. I have Daniel Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Right? I've had some Thursday nights where I've taken clients to Kowloon and had way too many cocktails, and I'm still gonna make it to Daniel. I'm walking in there on one leg, but I'm still gonna. I'm walking in on one leg. I'm still gonna make it there. But to surround myself with these guys who are sober has been awesome, and a lot of them own these recovery homes, and to see what they're doing and how they're giving back to the community and how well they're doing with themselves and also helping others, it's awesome. So I've surrounded myself with some really good people that have helped me get to where I am.
So you think circle of influence has been one of your greatest values?
100%, dude. 100%. Consistency, which is something that I do struggle with, is consistency. I struggle with consistency in my diet. I struggle with consistency on how hard I go at the gym, how hard I go at work. Because, like I said earlier, I'm such an extremist, so I might go fucking wicked hard one month, and then I might take my foot off the gas, right? My mother always says, Chris, it'd be nice if you could find moderation.
You're either flooring it or you're...
Dude, honestly, for the last 12 years, my fucking New Year's resolution has been, this year I'm going to find moderation. A couple years ago, I was like, fuck that, it ain't happening. All right? It ain't happening.
It ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows.
That's it, absolutely. Bro. It ebbs and flows, And I don't hate it. It's a little bit of a roller coaster at times. It keeps life very exciting. I'm very spontaneous. I'm very adventurous, and I love that, man. I love that. It's led to some really cool adventures to just be able to. That's the beauty of owning my own business. Like if something wild adventure comes up and I really really want to go, let's go, man.
You can go.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. But two of my biggest values are consistency and accountability. I think I do a really good job of holding myself accountable. I've recently hired a business coach who helps hold me accountable. My daughter holds me super accountable. I gotta be there for her. My fitness coach, now my business coach, my mentors, they all hold me super accountable. And I'm good at holding myself accountable, but if we want to take this shit to the next level, which we do, then I need other people to help me out and hold me accountable. And you bet your ass I'm going to hold them accountable too. Like I'll make you feel like shit if you didn't go to the gym. If you're one of my guys and like you didn't go to the gym, dude, like I'll call you out on it. Sure. Right? And I want to be called out too.
That's what you need.
Right. I don't want that phone call being like, did you go to the gym today? And I have to say no. Like I don't want to do that. Right. So I help hold them accountable too, and that
it bruises the ego a little bit.
Oh, big time, bro.
Yeah,
big
absolutely.
time,
I got a running buddy, my friend Adam.
Sure.
He got me into like running half marathons and stuff. And anytime I see his watch go off, because we link our watches, so like I see his watch go off.
That's smart. That's really smart.
I'm just like, fuck, he's day 2 and I've missed both days. Like, let me get my ass out there, you know? So like we send each other our running charts. So like absolutely.
Genius,
now,
man.
Let me ask you this, because Sabor mentioned it and Rob both mentioned it about having some type of guidance in terms of people who kept them accountable. Was there a certain moment that made you realize I needed this? Or like how did you kind of get into that full thought mindset?
If I don't have double-digit growth in my business every year, which is really fucking hard to do, I can get stagnant at times. Like I take the week of the 4th of July off every year. That has a hangover effect. Okay, I take the week off. I don't just bounce back that Monday after that week, right? It might because
the routine's broken.
Exactly. And I can easily say to myself, and this is actually true, that the month of July is a big vacation month. I have a lot of wealthy customers. So the month of July is a big vacation month, and people aren't usually thinking about suits. They're more thinking about bathing suits, right? So I tend to follow that lead, okay? And I'm like, all right. And I have the beach house up in Maine.
Meaning you make suits, or meaning you go hang out with them?
No, I go vacation myself.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So that's kind of what I did last July, is I took my foot completely off the gas almost the whole month. And I just let the business come to me, which it did, right? It did come to me. I had my worst month in about 2 years. Not terrible. That's just about the business. If you ask my daughter, the month of July we had, she'd be like, oh my God, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, right.
Now, what's more important?
Right.
But
what do you want to be remembered for?
Exactly, bro. And I'm guilty of sometimes losing sight of that, right? And I looked at that, but there's recency bias. So I come to the end of the year, I'm looking at my numbers, and I'm looking where I could get better. I'm like, July fucking sucked. What the fuck's I'm talking to myself? What the fuck's your problem, bro? Like, where were you in July? And the memories that created for my daughter far outweigh any type of revenue that could have came through the door.
Because you're going to continue making revenue.
Exactly. It's going to come, and I'm going to find ways to do it. And when I go hard, like I can go to the well and go hard and make it, right? But the time with my daughter, because she's 11. She's not always going to want to hang out with dad. Right? I'm already starting to see that. Yes. Oh, can a friend come? Can a friend come? Can a friend come? Yeah, the answer is yeah, that's fine. But so if I don't have double-digit growth, I get a little upset with myself, right? And the bills are getting higher, right? And I do and want to continue to plan for the future. I got a bright little girl who's probably going to go off to college, right? And probably going to get married someday. So there's going to be expenses coming down the pipeline. And I like to vacation lavishly. Like when again, I don't take that many vacations, but when I do, I like to ball the fuck out, right? I want to drive a nice car.
As you should.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. As you should, my guy. Thank you for saying that. I like to drive a nice car, and it comes with a suit lifestyle, right? The cars and the watches.
I love the license plate. Suited,
thank
bro.
You, bro.
That was a fucking
thanks,
bit, bro.
I appreciate you noticing that. I appreciate you noticing that.
That was when I saw was it the AMG?
Yeah, sure.
The
G-Wagon.
That shit is sick. The post you put up. I was like, this dude's hitting the gym, but I'm fucking looking at the car. Like, God damn, bro.
It's a whole lifestyle, man. And it's fun, bro. It accompanies it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So double-digit growth, my bad. Sorry for cutting you off. Yeah.
So if there's not double-digit growth, it's like, all right, I got to get better here. And then we talked about the 4th of July hangover. Something really, really rewarding happened to me last year. And I wanted, instead of giving my daughter gifts for Christmas, I wanted to take her away the day after Christmas. I said, so we had to talk about it ahead of time because the place I was thinking, and I wanted to make sure she was on the same page, requires some planning, and it really can't do a surprise like this because it's a long flight. So I said to her, she's heavy into skimboarding. Okay, it's like skim,
Skim.
S-K-I-M.
Yeah.
It's this thin wooden board. You throw it and you ride the waves.
Okay.
Again, we have a summer house.
That's like surfing, like you're out, like you're running on the dirt, and then you jump on the board and slide it. Okay, yeah.
Yes. And she's gotten very good at that up at our beach house in Maine. And I said, hey, what about Hawaii? And because I explained to her, this is a 12-hour flight. Like, no, I want to go. I said, are you sure?
Right.
Explain
You're asking an 11-year-old about sitting around for 12 hours.
I was like, and this was in like October. I was like, hey, this isn't something we change our mind on a couple of days before Christmas. Like, I'm going to give you a couple of days. I'm going to ask you again tomorrow morning. And if you really want to do it, we're going to do it. And she was like, Daddy, I want to do it. I said, okay. So just her and I. And we woke up at like 5 a.m. the day after Christmas. And we got in a car and we went to the airport. And I surprised her with a layover in San Diego. Went to San Diego Zoo.
Nice.
Awesome. And the next day we went to Maui. Bro, I've been very fortunate to go to a lot of places in this world. Iceland, Tulum, Greece, all the Caribbean almost, and like some really fucking cool places. Maui was fantastic. You could have put us in fucking Nebraska. Put her and I in Omaha, Nebraska, dude. The quality of time that we had together was bar none the best we've ever had. As she's getting older, I come to value that more and more and more, right? And the skimboarding was great, and helping her build her confidence. We hired a skimboarding coach down there. It was awesome. I took her to get not tattoo on her, took her to get a tattoo on me so she can see what that's all about. And like, she's at such a fun age, like really nice dinners. Her and I, like I would give her 3 options. I was like, we can go chill dinner, casual dinner, or fancy dinner. And I would let her choose. And she always wanted like the lower end ones. And I said, all right, we're going to do one fancy dinner so we can dress up and look pretty. And so we did that one night. And we just had really nice dinners. She loved the breakfast buffet. Dude, we went horseback riding, snorkeling, like out on a catamaran. The memories we built, man, I will never, ever, ever forget. I tell you that because we come back. So we were gone for like 12 days. We come back. Man, I got hit with seasonal depression right in the fucking face. Right?
Really?
Yeah, man, because like think about it. Oh, shit, not only are the holidays gone, the trip to Hawaii is now over. Beautiful, like 85 degrees out there, having a blast with my daughter. You come back, it's like I don't know, like January 6th, let's say. And man, my year's over. I got to start all over again. Right, I'm in this freezing cold weather. I just left Hawaii, and I was kind of down in the dumps. Right, you eat and drink like shit I didn't drink much. Obviously, I was with my daughter. I don't think I maybe had one drink the whole time I was there. But I ate like crap when you're there, right? So it's like, man, I got to get the fitness back in check. I got to get work back in check, and you get overwhelmed. And again, for me, anyways, I sometimes can get like, man, there's so much to do. I'm just paralyzed.
You think of where you were, and
yeah,
where you are now,
bro,
and
right?
it's like it's a process.
And
to
for
build
me,
it right
bro,
back
like
up.
I love the holidays, man. Like once Thanksgiving comes, dude, I love an excuse to get together with the guys, go out, have fun. Like I love the holiday season, dude. The parties and this Rob's party, like all of it. I love it. And when it comes to a screeching halt, I'm like, oh man, that's over. I had so much fun with all that. So I got down a little funk, and I hired a business coach to kick me in the fucking ass. And I knew this guy for a while because friends of mine had hired him, and I've met him on multiple occasions. Sure. He lives in Toronto. I mean, he comes down to this area quite a bit because he's got a bunch of clients down here. So I've had a chance to meet him, and I loved him. And when I met him a couple years ago, he said to me, what was his exact words? He's like, you are in the lifestyle stage of your business. I'll never forget that. And it was a compliment, and he was right. He was like, you're chilling. Like, you're good, man. You're good. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I'd lost the hunger for a bit, right? I didn't chase it as much as I once did, and I let it all come to me. And it did come. I needed to get that hunger back. I wanted to grow this more, but there's a ceiling to this business. It's tough to scale it, right? So where can all this money I've been saving, where can I put it to work? Right? Like, what's next? I want something else, right? I don't necessarily have the manpower of myself to put behind it, but I can put the dollars behind it, right? So what else can I invest in? Is it real estate? I got a passion for the car wash. Like, what is it that I can get going, right? And Rob Toro and I have these conversations quite a bit.
I'm a fan of these conversations because I go through it as well.
Right.
Like I invest now because of I completely understand trying to put your money to work.
Exactly, right? Because it sits there, and I get comfort out of that, right? Knowing that it's there.
There is peace, yeah. There's
on a
definitely
rainy
peace.
day, right? But it's not.
You also look at it like, why is it just sitting there though?
So it's like, all right, and so he's got me. My coach, his name is Sean. He's got me thinking that way now. And he makes me dedicate time during the day to block off on my calendar, no phone, no nothing, to focus on that. And so he's done a really good job of getting me to think like that and not be so complacent and be hungry. And I got these guys who I'm surrounding myself, Rob being one of them, all these sober friends of mine, right, who have these drug recovery centers that they own, mental health, sober homes, and then they're getting into various commercial and residential real estate projects. Like they're so diversified. Should their business crash or something, they want to be diversified, right? And I saw certainly a drop off in COVID times, and it's like, all right, how else can I diversify? And that's COVID is what forced me to get into casual wear, right? Jeans and bomber jackets and all that, which is great. So how can I diversify now, right? This menswear business, women's wear business of mine is going swimmingly, right? But I want more, and I want to get involved in other businesses, and what's that going to look like? So I'm having those conversations now, which is great. Conversations are fun, but without an end goal, it's just a dream.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Very much so.
So I gotta get
very much so.
Hey, you get another water. Can I get you?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm rocking this.
All right. So,
bro, I'm loving this conversation.
Me too,
we are an hour in and it hasn't even felt like it. So I'm a huge fan.
Good, man. I'm
we
glad.
might run out of memory on the phones before this conversation ends.
So like the coaches really helped keep me accountable, and accountability and consistency. He helps. Those are my two core values when it comes to business. And the accountability, I've done a good job of getting my hands around that. If I can just stay consistent, okay? And I'll give you an example of that in a second. I sometimes worry about taking time off, okay? Because it derails me a bit.
Sure.
So this past weekend was this ski trip. And initially, I was supposed to leave Friday morning and come home Monday afternoon. Watch the Super Bowl up there, ski maybe once or twice. After speaking with my coach, this is all me. This is not my coach telling me what to do, because that's not good. If he tells me what to do, I'm
right?
Right?
You're in a bad spot if he's trying to motivate you to get out of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So
absolutely.
I'm like, I went to the gym Friday morning, per usual. Had to keep that on track. That's at 6 a.m. And then client reached out to me midweek last week, and we're trying to figure out how to get him in. And I was like, dude, can you be at my house Friday morning at 7:30? He's like, yep. Came to my house, dropped a pile of money on me, and I was like, this is awesome. But I'm behind now. I got to pack and get my ass up to Vermont. So I did. Went up there. Was a little bit late, to the point where I didn't really get to ski on Friday. That's fine with me. I made the money. I felt good about that. That makes me really, really happy, right? And then Saturday, fit a client into FaceTime at 10 a.m. on Saturday, so that he could buy some stuff not only himself but for his son. And he spent a fair amount of money. So by the time I got to the slopes on Saturday, it's now like noon, right? So it's
everybody's been there
right,
since like
right,
early morning.
Right. And I'm new to the whole thing.
You're catching up, yeah.
I'm new. I mean, I got a shit-eating grin on my face because I've sold a bunch of stuff.
I'm fucking
good.
pizza wedging down
there. Yeah, right. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So, skied, had a blast. Saturday night dinner. I'm supposed to stay up this Sunday. So Sunday it snows. Apparently this fresh pow is what everybody talks about. It was great skiing conditions. But, man, I had to come home. And I'm very happy with that decision. I wanted to watch the Super Bowl at my sober friend's house on Sunday night. I wanted to see him, and he's got a beautiful family, man. He's got a wife and 5 kids. One's a newborn, and all of his buddies were coming, and I wanted to meet some of them who I haven't met before. But most importantly, man, I wanted to wake up in my bed on Monday morning and be with my coach at 6 a.m., getting in my workout at his gym, and I wanted to be pen and paper at my kitchen table at 11 a.m. for that call, my weekly call with my coach. Now, Could I have skipped the Super Bowl party? Yes. Could I have skipped the gym and got a half-ass workout at some shitty hotel gym up there? Yes. Could I have taken that 11 a.m. call in the car, on the phone, on the way home? Yes, I could have done all that. But it's mindset, man. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. I know I would have been drunk Sunday night, watched Super Bowl at a bar, obviously, in Vermont, right? And then what's that mean? That means a hungover Monday. I'm probably going to say fuck you to the workout.
And if you go as, it's
right now I'm pissed off. Okay, now I'm hungover, pissed off, anxiety, driving home, half-ass call with my coach, can't take notes because I'm driving. And I'm like, I thought I played all that out of my head. And I was like, nope, canceled the Sunday night for the hotel. That's fine, see you later. And came home and got all that stuff done. And man, my week started off on the right fucking note. Nice. And for my sober buddy to call me on Monday morning, he's like, dude, how did you make it to the gym? How the fuck did I not make it to the gym, bro? You kidding me? I set myself up nicely for that. And like I couldn't have been happier with that. And I've been making more decisions like that to keep me consistent, right? Because I know, and look, I'm still going to take off the week of the 4th of July for my daughter and all that. I'm still going to do that. That's a lock for every year as far as I'm alive. And there's still going to be times where I do that. And I might take a sporadic vacation here and there, but I want to be consistent. I want to hang out with people that are going to help me with that consistency, right? I speak a lot about his name is Eddie, my sober buddy. He's amazing, dude. I really, really look up to this guy. And I told him that today. I'll get back into that in a minute. But he's planning a trip to St. Bart's. I've never been on vacation with him, right? And it's one of, I call it our friend, but it's his friend who he introduced me to, and he's sober as well, and it's his 40th, and it's a big deal. And they're gonna go to St. Bart's. And I'm like, man, I want to go on that trip. Like, I think that would be really good for me in so many ways, and I'm gonna fucking go. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't look at that as like, in the past, man, I've gone on these trips to Vegas for 5 days, and I just get fucking shit-faced. And I come home, it's like a suicide mission because I get all this hangover anxiety. I'm like, oh my God. And so I've started to hang out with people like that, and it's felt really, really good to surround myself with people like that. And, my coach has tasked me with, reaching out to clients and, showing appreciation, showing gratitude without any type of sales approach or anything like that, just thanking them. Right? And I've been doing
There's something magical to that.
There
Catching someone off, not expecting it. You don't want anything in return. You just give them some praise, and then...
And some of these are big time. Some of these are professional. Some of these are big timers, dude. I'm like...
They sometimes need it more than the average person.
I'm like, dude, this guy's not going to reply. And they reply, dude. And he's like, man, thank you so much for all your help. You kidding me? What you've done for me? I got to come in and get more. And it's not even a sales tactic at all. And my coach has put me into doing this, and man, I've gotten a lot out of it. It's helped. I'm like, wow, this customer's been really good to me. I want to show him some love. And if it's just a simple text, it's maybe like, 3 or 4 lines of a text, and it's been very well received. So I've been doing a lot of reflecting and showing gratitude lately. And it's really, and I've known this, but when you step back, because I'm so goddamn guilty of working in the business that I'm not great at working on the business. And he's helped me work on it, to set aside a day of the week to work on the business instead of in it. And it's really helped me have a deeper appreciation for what I have.
Nice. Nice. Here's my question to you, going back to the Maui trip, because I'm always curious how successful people have conversations with their kids.
Sure.
Because I find, and I've said this in a few vlog episodes that I've done, but I always like to kind of ask everyone is, my kids look at me when I try to tell them what we have, we're fortunate, and then when I try to explain to them like where I came from, where I grew from, it's almost like I'm telling them poor me stories because they can't relate to it.
Sure.
So when you're sitting with your daughter, obviously she's 11, so you're not having obviously like the deepest of talks in terms of, hey, you need to prepare for life for this.
Sure.
But you are trying to prepare her. Like, what is your average conversation with her in terms of like having her appreciate what she has here? Like, how are you going about that?
I love that. 2 things come to mind. I had this beach house up in Maine, and we went up there. Like, there was February vacation, 2021, and we didn't go away anywhere. And we did a day trip to my place in Maine, and there's not much to do up there. It's a beach town, so there's not much to do up there in February. So I found a local hotel that had an in-ground pool, indoor in-ground pool. In order to use it, you had to be a guest of the hotel. Okay? And it's legit, bro, a mile from my house. So I was like, well, what's your cheapest room? And it was like $89 a night. And I was like, cool, whatever. $100 to have my daughter have a good day in this indoor pool, absolutely worth it. So we went into the room so that she could change, because she had her winter clothes on, she had to put her bathing suit on and all that. So I was like, well, we might as well just use this as a changing room for a night. So we did that. And we walked into the room, and it's a pretty rundown hotel. And she was like, oh, what is this place? So 2021, she's what, 6, okay? Not even yet, it's early into it, so she's like 5.5. And I'm like, back in the day, Grandma and Papa would take me here, and we would stay here. And I would think this was the best thing ever, because it had 2 hotels with 2 indoor pools. And it was so cool. And I didn't even pay attention. And man, it's nasty, right? Like the rugs are old and shit. But the location's sick, especially in the summertime, it's right on the beach. So I was like, you got to learn to appreciate this a little bit more. And she's been fortunate to, live nicely. But I remind her, right? And when we go away to Maui, for example, we stayed at a Sheraton. It was a beautiful location right on the beach. That's where, and Kanapali Beach in Maui. And it's known for its skimboarding and surfing. So when I contacted the travel agent, I said to her, this is my number one concern, is a beach that you can skimboard on. I don't want to have to drive there. I want to be local. And she's like, perfect, here you go. I was like, awesome. It was a Sheraton. It was nice. Okay, I'm very grateful to be able to even go to Maui. Put me up in a shack, I would have been fine. Maybe not, but...
you would have made the best of it.
Exactly. It wasn't the Four Seasons. It wasn't the Ritz. And I did that on purpose, right? It's a long flight to Maui. This is not a flex when I say this, but I could have afforded to put us both in first class. I opted not to, because she's lucky enough to be on a plane at 11 years old to go to Maui. So we're going to fly coach, and she's going to be just fine with that. Okay, she slept most of the way anyways, and it was awesome. We had a red eye coming home. Okay, so the flight home was Maui to LAX, and then a red eye from LAX to Boston. Now this is where my mentor comes into play. He's got me running my business expenses through a JetBlue credit card. So I have a plethora of JetBlue points. Yeah. Okay, and then, so I've got the Mosaic status and all the fucking bullshit. And then you get so many points, you get these certificates. So you can upgrade to JetBlue Mint. JetBlue Mint is a lay flat experience. It's first class on steroids, okay? You have your own bed, like your own lamp, little refrigerator. It comes with socks and it's insane, dude. 3-course meal, it's wild. And I was like, I can't do a fucking 4th flight in coach, and I want her to experience it. Not that I'm above coach. I'm not trying to say any of that, right? I've flown coach to Mykonos and all of that. Like, I know how to suck it up. I have my limits. I'm not paying $6,000 to fly first class. Again, I had the points, and I was like, I'm going to do it. She was such a good kid on the trip, dude, and I expected that. She's so easy. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to, but with the precursor, I had this conversation with her. To answer your question, I said, you saw how we flew the first 3 legs. This is a very special treat. This is not how we're always going to fly, because we're not. This is a very special treat. You are amazing on this trip. You hustled through the airport. You held your own. It was awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we're going to do this. Dude, she lit up when we got out there. And it was cool because she got to sleep, right? Because it's important, right? She sleep because we come home and the time changes wild. We come home and it's like 7 a.m. on a Sunday, and we left on like a Saturday morning. So it's the whole time changes. So it was really good. So to answer your question, with the certain precursors that like, hey man, it's not, oh hey Carter, it's not always going to be like this. Like, yeah, daddy's got the nice car, but it wasn't always like this. Like, I didn't grow up with it, okay? the house that Grandma and Papa have, like that's where I grew up. Like it's an awesome house, but it's very modest, and I love the upbringing that I came from. I love it. It gave me an even deeper appreciation for the finer things now, because now I can afford them on my own. Like even stupid stuff, man. Like when I grew up, my parents would buy. They've graduated, but they used to buy Market Basket brand Diet Coke. Okay, and
my mom would get Royal Cola.
Okay, and Market Basket gallons of water. So like it was a goal of mine to have a home where I could buy 12-ounce cans of Diet Coke and 16.9-ounce bottles of Poland Spring, and as many of them that I wanted to. Right? I've read some. I don't read many books, but I've read a book before, and it's something to do with Mark Cuban, and he just wanted the plushest towels. And I read a book about Tom Brady. He just wanted the nicest socks, and he wanted to make so much money that he could wear a pair of socks and then throw them away after. Right? So like those little things have driven me. Like I'm not good at receiving gifts. I'm really bad at it. I love to give, but I'm not great at receiving. So when someone says to me, I want to get you something, I honest to God say to them, I would love a 12-pack of Diet Coke cans. Not bottles, but cans, and I will light up. I'm very easy to please like that, right? It's the little things. I truly believe this, and so much lives in the details. With my business and how I live my life, so much lives in the details. I'm a big believer in sending thank you notes for my daughter. We were late this year because of Hawaii. Like I don't think we got them out till like last week, but I made sure, and she gives me a tough time about it, thank you notes for every, and there wasn't a lot, maybe 12 thank you notes to all the people who gave you Christmas gifts. I don't care how little it was or how big it was, everyone's going to get a thank you note too, because that was instilled in me when I was growing up, and I think that's a lost art. To not a text, to handwrite a thank you note, stamp the whole 9 yards and mail it and get it to people, I think is a lost art, and very, very important to do, to show the gratitude, to show respect. And so I have these conversations with my daughter. Like, look, we got it good, okay? We get the nice car, and we got the homes and all of that, and it's great. But first of all, it could be gone real fucking quick, right? You hear about these fires and all this stuff, all these natural events that happen, and all this stuff, and who knows what's going to happen to this business of mine. I hope it keeps going in the direction that it will. I'm going to make sure it does, but things can change, man. Things can change. Things can change rapidly, and we need to appreciate what we have, because it's not always like this. Daddy didn't always have this or have this. It's. I've worked really, really hard. I always say I'm so lucky, and I am. But I've worked fucking hard, man. I've worked really, really hard so that
you don't get here
sure.
You know, people can't see the house that I'm in right now, but you don't get here, have what you have at the garage.
I appreciate
wear
that,
the
man.
suits and just everything you have by chance.
Yeah,
you know that's work ethic.
I appreciate you saying that, and it most certainly is. But at the end of the day, man, like it's work, but it doesn't feel like it because I love what I do.
Right.
I get to wake up every day with, oh man, it's like a game. When I meet with a client, it's game time. It's game time, and I get psyched. And there's some days where I have 5 or 6 appointments, and that's when I'm in the zone. And it's awesome, man. It's very exciting. It's very thrilling for me, and it's just afforded me such a nice lifestyle, and more importantly, a really nice lifestyle for my daughter. Like she wants to do this or do that, but the funny thing is man, is she's easy. Like she don't want it all, man. She sweatpants, one pair of sneakers. Like she's not.
Nice.
She's not like, oh, I want this, I want this, I want that. And the day she asks for a Gucci bag, it'll be the fastest no out of my mouth. You know what I mean? Like we're not doing that. I made her wait for a phone, and she waited very patiently for that, and she's very good with it. Like she gets it. She gets it. She doesn't abuse it by any means. I'm always like, do you want this? Do you want that? No, Daddy. Like, do you want to go to a nice dinner? No, I just like the 99. Like it's awesome. Right. I play into that so much, man. Like, I love the 99. I grew up on it. And she loves it too, and that's our spot. And like she would rather the 99 than Moo, right? And I'm like, that's awesome. I love that. And I'm like, yeah, those sneakers are a little bit beat. We were in Maui, and her Crocs were beat. And there was a Crocs store that sold just Crocs. I'm like, hey, let's go. They can be the same exact white pair. Let's go get you a new, fresh pair of Crocs. And she's like, I had a fighter on it. And I was like, no,
That's
really?
a good thing.
Yeah, it's a great
That's
thing.
amazing,
It's a great thing, and we finally went and got them, and she loved them, and that just goes to show you how awesome she is, and yeah, it's a trip, man. Yeah. It's a trip.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I appreciate it.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Before we jump back, because I have some questions about your parents.
Absolutely,
but
bro.
first, what's in the suitcase? Because I saw you come outside with it.
Yeah, sure. It's one of the most questions I get asked, and this has been with me since day one, man. This is a brand called Rimowa, and when I first started out, a client said to me, I showed up with like a legit suitcase and like a garment bag with all the garments in it. He's like, man, you need a better presentation. I never fucking forgot that. I was like, I'll show this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I went and bought a very expensive briefcase by a company called Rimowa, and it's lifelong. It's made in Germany, and this houses fabrics, fabric books, and my pins and my square reader and pens and order. I'm so old school, bro. Like I write everything down.
An order pad?
Yeah,
Okay,
I have order pads, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't do the iPad thing. Like I write it all down, and so this houses all that, and it's always with me. One time I went to Stowe, Vermont, and I didn't have it with me, and I saw a client in the lobby who was nearly impossible to get in touch with. He's famous for not answering my texts, and he was on vacation mode, right? And he's like, dude, you don't happen to have your fabrics. And I'm like, so I swore to never let that happen again.
Yeah.
Right? So this is always in the car with me. If I go on vacation, I might grab one or two books and bring them with me, because you just never know. So yeah, this is my trusty
That's
briefcase,
the
and
workspace.
it makes a statement.
Yeah.
To me, you walk in somewhere, it's this, and they look at me like, yeah, this motherfucker, he's not here to fuck around. Like he's all business. It almost looks like I'm a hitman, but
It definitely does.
It's heavy. You could hurt somebody with it if you had to, but it's heavy. It's quality, and it's a synonym for what we make and what we do, and high quality stuff. And that's the trusty suitcase, the briefcase.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Nice. So now going back to your parents,
Yeah,
right?
please.
Talking about their modest
absolutely.
home. And
Yep.
So for yourself, what do you think lessons that your parents taught you that they've instilled in you that have kind of helped you get to this point?
My parents were entrepreneurs, right? So they owned and still own their own screen printing business.
Okay.
Okay. So like your men's softball team needs 24 jerseys with the logo on the front and the name and the number on the back. Like they do stuff like that. So they mass produce, right? I think their order intake minimum is like 24. And they take big, large orders, municipalities, softball teams, landscape companies, what have you, union stuff, all of that. T-shirts, sweatpants,
What was the minimum
hats,
size order?
like 24.
Oh, 24.
Yeah, 24.
Okay.
So they still own that business. They operate it, just the two of them. They've been married for, it's going to be 45 years this May. They're best friends. They don't go anywhere without one another. Right? Like I could ask my father to come to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup, and he'd be like, "No, I'm going to watch it on the couch with your mother." My mother doesn't even want to watch the fucking game, right?
But I'm
right.
with her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's awesome, man. It's awesome to see, and they're both getting older, and they're experiencing their health issues, and they're getting old together, and it's awesome to watch, man, because that stuff doesn't exist here and there. It does, especially with that generation. It certainly does, but this day and age, you see a lot of divorce or unhappy marriages and whatnot, and it's sad to hear the divorce rate going up and up, and to see them so happy together is amazing. And no matter what, right, things come and go in life, but to know that they're there and to appreciate that. And my brother has moved out now, and he lives with his girlfriend, and I'm here now. The nice thing is I'm 3 minutes away from them. Okay. So I grew up 3 minutes up the street.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Did
you intentionally buy something so close, or was that just by chance?
I wanted to come back. I grew up in Woburn, bought my first house in Woburn. Then for about 8 years, I lived in Wakefield. And back in 2022, I could see what was happening. My daughter is in school. She's in a private school in Woburn. She's playing sports in Woburn. And her friend group is in Woburn. My parents are in Woburn. My daughter's mom is in Woburn. It was going down in Woburn. And I was like, all right, that's cool. I'll come back, right? So I came back, and I wanted to find a house, and I like mid-century modern stuff. Well, there's about 4 of those in Woburn, okay? And Sabor, I was out to eat at a graduation party, and my godfather was there. He grew up in a mid-century modern house in Woburn with his parents, and they've since sold it and this and that. And I was like, you know what I want is the house you grew up in. Imagine if I could buy that and like kind of bring it back into the family. How fucking cool that would be. This was on a Thursday night. Friday morning, I get the emails from Sabor, and this popped up. And I was like, bro, this is it. And he brought me in, showed it to me. I don't really care about the boiler or any of that type of stuff. Dude, I walk in, I see it. Yep, done, take it. I'll figure out the rest of the shit later, dude. I want this house. And mind, this is you're going to make him this offer and this. And he got it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got it done. And I grew up in a like a split level home, and very modestly, and but dude, it's West Woburn, beautiful big yard, kids in the neighborhood, like it was fun. I had my own bedroom. I'm not trying to make it sound like I was in the slums, because I wasn't by any means. The house was awesome, but like I was lucky to have a window fan in the window, right? So when I bought my first house, it also had no central air. So that became a goal of mine. I want to have central air. I want to at least have an AC in the window.
Sure.
Okay. And like, I was like, oh, I just need to get to that. What do I have to do? And bro, like if the 9 to 5 wasn't cutting it, I would find the most scrappy ways to make a buck. My parents owned the screen printing business, right? So this was back in 2000 to 2004 is when the Red Sox were hot in the playoffs. The whole cowboy up thing.
Yeah.
Kevin Millar. So my father made T-shirts that said cowboy up. He would give me a bunch of them and say, okay, you owe me $2 for every T-shirt. I said, okay, great. I would go to my college and sell them for $5, which is nothing, right? So I'm making $3 on every T-shirt I sell. And I then became a resident assistant at school. Like I found the most scrappy ways, bro. I was working for the post office. I designed my college schedule so that I only had classes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now, most people would do that so that they can have a 4-day weekend and just drink, right? No. I worked for the post office delivering mail on Fridays, Saturdays, and Mondays, only because they're closed on Sundays. Fridays, Saturdays, and Mondays, I would deliver mail for the post office. I was a resident assistant, so I was getting paid by the school, and I had my own room as a...
Right, That's the benefits of an RA.
And then I would sell the T-shirts, right? So I would find all these ways to make money so that I could afford the nicer things. And that's still the case now, right? Like, if I want something bad enough, yeah, look, I make the money, I could certainly go get it, but like, no, I don't want to touch that money. That money's for that money's for that. What do I got to do? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not using this Louis Vuitton bag. Sell this thing. Get this out of here, and I'll sell it, and then I'll take that money to get what I want, right? I'm strategic like that and scrappy like that. And I learned that because that's how I grew up. 3rd grade, bro, I wanted the nice things. I wanted the menswear stores at the Burlington Mall in 3rd grade, and I wanted the Z Cavaricis and the IOU sweatshirts and the skids. I wanted that stuff in 3rd grade at the menswear stores. My parents, the most valuable lesson they ever fucking taught me. You want that stuff? This is how you're going to earn a buck. And they taught me about allowance, all that, right? The trash, the laundry, what have you. And then they taught me about layaway. So, okay, Chris, that sweatshirt's $90. You go in and you leave 30, and then you come in the next week and you leave 30, and you come in the next week and leave 30, and it's yours. Oh, cool, okay. So I scrapped my way into getting that stuff. 12 years old, my brother's born, okay? Awesome. I learned so much about fatherhood. Bro, I'm changing diapers at 12 years old.
Right.
Okay? Prepared me for my daughter. And my parents own their own business. So what would happen is my mother would work, get me off to school, and then she'd go to work till like 2 o'clock. Then she'd come home, get me off the bus, get me settled. I'd hang with my brother. She'd go back to work, come home at like 5:30, and then make dinner. They paid me $5 an hour to watch my brother. Now, I understand most kids didn't get paid, but they did.
Right.
Because they didn't want me to feel like, hey, You didn't
Well, they understood how you functioned as well.
That's they know how to motivate
Yeah,
me, right?
exactly.
And they knew I didn't ask for the baby, although I was very receptive, and I loved having a brother that age. And then I would say to them, like, well, why don't you go out on Thursday night? Like, go to the movies, go to dinner, and they would. And I'd get the $5, right? So I've always learned how to make a buck. And it's that type of stuff stuck with me because they didn't give me handouts, okay? So so I was raised with 2 boys, okay? So you can, in my experience, you can be a little bit firmer with boys. I'm a fucking sucker for my daughter, okay?
Yes. Yes.
And I only got the one, and they say everybody has a boss, and I never understood what the fuck that meant. Like, what do you mean? I don't have a boss. I don't have a wife. Like, what does that mean? Well, the 11-year-old's my boss. Like, she's got me wrapped around her finger, and she fucking knows it. And
but you have to sell her on buying the Crocs.
Sure.
So, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a good boss to have.
So what I've done is, yes, is she spoiled? She absolutely is. Does she take advantage of it? No, she doesn't. She wanted a very expensive skimboard last summer. We'd buy, like at the little beach stores, we'd buy these $40 skimboards. And quite honestly, it was a waste of money because they would break. We've been through like 3 of them. And she sees this kid with this skimboard, and she's like, Daddy, that's what I want. So I looked it up online. This and that was fucking $500. But in hindsight, it's actually a better buy because it's going to last a long time.
Quality-wise,
Right.
yeah.
So I said, all right, this is what we're going to do. You're going to pay half, and I'm going to pay half. My parents would have told me to buy the whole thing,
Sure.
right? But like I said, I'm a sucker, and she's a girl, so I take it easy on her. I said, you're going to pay half, and I'm going to buy half. But here's the rule. You can't touch your savings. She's got a fucking pile of cash. And I was like, you can't touch that in order to get to the $250. You need to earn it, and here's ways you're going to earn it. And we've always done a lemonade stand. She's goddamn good at it. And we did a lemonade stand out in front of our beach house, and it's got a lot of foot traffic. And she did it, and the lemonade stand to the next level, like freeze pops and bags of chips and goldfish and all that. And people are giving her fucking wild tips. And she did it. And we used that money to go towards the skimboard, and we ordered for her, and she loves it, and she knows it's hers, and she owned it, and she bought it, and she saved for it, and stuff like that brings me back to my roots in how I was brought up. In order to get what you wanted, you gotta work for it, and you gotta earn it. So to answer your question, that's the type of stuff my parents drilled into me, along with just being there. Like, they were always there for me. When I say that, I mean, like, I grew up playing a lot of hockey and baseball as well, but hockey was my main sport. And as I'm sure you know or you've heard, there's some early mornings. It's an expensive sport, okay? The equipment alone, you're growing, so it's new equipment every year. Back then, it was like $300 skates, which is like unheard of now. But, the skates and then the expensive sticks come out and this and that, and that's just the equipment. And I didn't play in any of the select teams or anything like that. I played in the City League. But there's a tournament in Lake Placid. There's a tournament in Montreal. There's a tournament in Deerfield, Massachusetts, and it's going to require 3 nights in a hotel. All that stuff. And some of my best childhood memories are from that stuff, right? So I'm very grateful for that. But they were there for all of it. And they footed the bill. And back then, you don't understand the value of a dollar. But yeah, this is what we're doing. Like, I didn't think like, whoa, it costs that? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So they did all that, and they didn't complain once. And they never said no to, like, no, we're not going to go to that tournament. Why don't you try basketball instead of hockey? Like, they were like, no, you can do both. Like, yeah, whatever. If that's what you want to do, that's cool. There wasn't a limitation on where I could go to college. Like, my father's scrappy like I am. Like, he would scrap it, and he would find a way to make it work. And for both me and my brother and my mother and himself. And it was awesome, man. I learned a lot that way. I learned a lot. I learned a real lot. Very unselfish parents who put me first, and they took good care of me. And I want to do the same for my daughter, and I want to show up, and I want to be there. And that's the beauty of owning my own business, especially an appointment-only business where I can look at the calendar and know my daughter's got an indoor soccer game this Sunday at noon. Like, I'm going to be there. I mean, I had a client reach out to me the other day. He plays professional sport, and he can only meet with me on a Sunday. And I decided to take the appointment, but revolved it around my daughter's soccer schedule. So we both win, you know, because I want to be able to be there for as much as, and look, I'm not perfect. I miss it. Might be a work trip or leisure vacation where I might miss something here or there. And I feel worse about it than she does. Like being in Vermont this past weekend, right? She had a soccer game at noon on Sunday, and I was like, shit, I'm not. If it was at 2, I'd be good. Noon, I'm not going to be able to make that. She was sick and couldn't even fucking play. Which is, I hate that she was sick, but I'm like, oh, at least I didn't miss a game.
But it's eating you up until the point where she gets sick. Yeah,
Big
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
It eats me up when I can't be there for something like that. I hate that. I absolutely hate that. She's very understanding. She's, no, Dad, like, it's cool. I get it. It's cool, bro. But
well, that's also because you show up to everything that she feels that it's okay to. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to keep this wrapping.
Yeah,
I'd love to talk some more off camera as well.
Absolutely,
you know?
Yeah, 100%,
but
bro.
I have one question that I like to wrap up with.
Yes, please.
In terms of this, and then if you're cool with shooting the shit some more, I would gladly.
Yeah.
So, if you had to go back in time, right, and you could only take one lesson with you that you've learned up until this point in all your years, whether it's suits, life, family experiences, things like that, you only have this one lesson, and you got to rewind the clock to the very beginning, and you only have this one lesson to start everything with. Everything else is gone. What's that lesson you're taking with you?
The V word, not vagina.
I was like, well, this conversation took a twist just now.
Value.
Okay.
Value. What I mean by that is ask yourself where you can add value to the client's life. Okay? I'm not the cheapest guy when it comes to custom suits. I'm also not the most expensive. Okay? But I add value in so many different areas to the client. I answer texts and emails in a very timely fashion. I get very creative, i.e. my house at 7:30 in the morning. I've met clients at 6 a.m. before. That 7:30 a.m. client this past Friday, I gave him 2 options. And these were legitimate. I said, we can meet at my house at 5 a.m. or 7:30. Which do you prefer? I actually would have preferred 5. Okay, and he chose 7:30, and that's when we got it done, right? Do you think he can text a guy at, let's just use Tom Ford, for example. Okay, it's at a whole other price point. But do you think he can text a guy at Tom Ford and say, hey, I need a custom suit? Do you think that, when's the guy going to reply? Okay, and is he going to offer up 7:30 in the morning like that?
Right,
you know, right. Now, this is an existing customer, and I know him, so I felt comfortable having him to my home. Which I'm going to be building a second office soon, which is nice. Which is going to be really cool. Nice. Which will again add value to the client because I have a lot of clients that don't want to come to the city, and I get that. So where can you add value? So being available to the client, I think, is really important. Quality, price per wear. I often speak about price per wear. I have a lot of guys in finance, so to help them digest it a little bit, I talk about price per wear. Supplying them with a quality garment that's going to last and that's going to wear well and it's going to make them feel confident. And bro, I truly believe you're working with the best. Like when you come to me, I've been doing it long enough now where I used to shy away from saying stuff like that. Like I don't want to come across as too cocky, and there's a fine line between confidence and conceit. And I'm confident in my ability to deliver, and I very rarely say no. But there's been times where I've had to say no. Dude's like, it's my wedding. I'm getting married in 3 weeks. Yeah, bro, I'm not touching that. But there's been times where I have taken that on. And then he tells me he wants a custom lining, and my wedding's in 3 weeks, but I'm actually leaving in 2.5 weeks. Right? You want to talk about stress, but like. I set expectations, and I've built a very good rapport with my factory that I can deliver on some wild timelines. I don't like to advertise it, which I'm doing, but it's the value I add between fabric, knowledge, fit, timeliness, sustainability, how I answer, like all of that, man. I think I add value. I think I justify the price tag. Sure, I have suits that start at $1,000, right? I have suits at $3,000 and everywhere in between there, right? And I truly believe you can get value at any of those price points. But what you're really getting is, I'm not Tom Ford, I'm not Ralph Lauren, but I'm Chris fucking Cuozzo, and I know how to fucking deliver, right? And I'm like, when I put, like, literally, bro, like, my fucking name is on it, right? Like, you're not, when you buy a suit from Tom Ford, you're not working with Tom Ford. You're not, right? Maybe if you're Tom Brady, you are, but I don't really think so, right? You're getting the guy, right? Like, you're getting him, but it comes with the expert and the knowledge. But beyond all of that, okay, what it really comes with is, like, it's a network that you're essentially buying into. And, like, you're in the family, if you will, when you get a suit from me. And yeah, you can get higher up in the family with the more you spend, and, you know, timely payments, and there's certain ways to work your way up the ranks with me, right? I hear you're a dad and you're awesome and you're a good person, you're a good human being, all of that, even more so beyond buying more volume from me. But you're buying into that. And when you come to me and say, hey, dude, I need a dinner reservation on a Saturday night for 10 people, like, I could probably get that done for you, right? But I need a good contractor who's really good, who can finish my basement for me. I know who you're going to get, right? And you know who
absolutely.
I'm going to introduce you to Rob Torrin.
That's right.
Good for you, man. You just got one of the busiest, most unbelievable contractors out there, right? And Rob's expensive, but let me tell you something. He's going to fucking get it done, dude.
Quality,
and his attention to detail on the stuff that he does is top notch, right? So there's weight with that. Like, I just introduced you to him. Client called me last week. He doesn't own a watch, okay? And he's like, hey, man, I'm ready. I'm like, all right. He's like, I know you know your watches, so I'm like, well, what do you want? He's like, I want a Rolex Day-Date Platinum with a black dial. I said, bro, that's a hefty price tag for someone who has no watch to go to that. I said, do you want it today, tomorrow, or do you want to pay retail and wait and play the waiting game? And I can show you how to do that. He goes, well, what's the price difference? Just for sake of numbers. The watch retailed at $68,000. Plus tax and all of that, right? Again, now you knock on the door like 72, 73. I made a phone call for him, and I said, hey, I have a guy who can get it for you, and you'll have it in less than 5 days. But the price is going to be closer to $80,000. He said, that's fine. I can do that. I said, okay. Now, I don't need to question this client's funds and if he can deliver. And my other guy who sells, it's called the gray market, who sells in the gray market, I don't need to question his ability to deliver, okay? So this client called me because he knows I can connect, right? He's taking delivery of that $80,000 watch tomorrow. The watch guy's thanking me for the business. My client's thanking me for delivering that to him, and he's psyched, and everybody's happy. And he's in the family, right? And he's able to get that now, and he's psyched beyond belief. He had an unbelievable year last year, the best year of his life. And his background is an amazing, amazing story. Somebody who you just want to help, who doesn't even need the help. But I can add value in other ways that maybe money can't add value, right? So to be able to connect people like that, like, okay, great, you bought that suit at Tom Ford. Do you think that Tom Ford guy, are you going to text that guy at Tom Ford and be like, hey, man, you got a good contractor? You're not.
Right.
You're not.
Right.
He probably doesn't either, right?
No.
But you're not going to. And the advantage of helping small business and medium-sized business and all that is awesome. The people who I've met from it, the people who want to help me, and I want to pay that back now, right? As I get older, I'm coming across younger clients now, right? Even my barber's a 21-year-old kid, and I love him. I meet with him every Wednesday at 5 a.m. to cut my hair. and we have good conversations, and he's a good kid, and I like to help him out and kind of help him where I can, and it's rewarding, man. I get so much reward from giving back. So again, I go back to that keyword value. I know I can deliver value to the customer across so many areas, well beyond clothing, well beyond. I've hooked them up with women, right? He's like, man, I think you might know. Absolutely, let me connect you guys. I think you guys would be great together, right? To dinner reservations, to Bruins tickets. Hey, my kid's sick. He loves Charlie McAvoy. Can we get something signed for him? Absolutely, man. Like, I'd love to help with that. That's special. Thank you for reaching out to me. Let me see what I can do. Right? Like stuff like that. It's to have the Rolodex I have, I feel so grateful for. And so to be able to add value to the client's life in so many areas gives me appreciation. Like, it's like I'm paying you back. They're like, dude, you don't have to pay back. I bought a suit from you. You delivered an unbelievable product. It's awesome. I fucking love it. I was like, yeah, man, but I want to help you out in this situation, I really get high of helping people. It feels really, really good to give back in that way. And I throw these events, and I'm about to throw a big one next month, where I just get a lot of good people together. And sure, man, is there going to be fabrics out and this and that? But yeah, there's going to be cigars and drinks and whatever you're into is going to be going on there. But at the end of the day, I'm just looking to put good people in the same room, right? And you might be a great business owner. You might just be a really good person. I got this one guy who's a pastor. He's unbelievable. He's an unbelievable human being. Unbelievable. And guys who their business might never be able to help me or might never be able to refer them people, but just to have those type of people in my life who they might just be a really good person or a really good dad, or just he really cares, or he checks on me or I check on him and we work out together, or just all different walks of life, man. I think people add value in so many different ways. It's just being able to find what their value is and where they can add it. And the more value you can add, the better. And I like to think that's what I bring to the table, well beyond menswear. Value. Mm-hmm.
Nice. I like that a lot, man. All right, so to wrap up here, what's your social media handle? Like,
where can
people find you?
Absolutely. The 617-812-SUIT is the phone number that can be called, that can be texted. Christopher_Cuozzo is the Instagram. That's Cuozzo. I love email. I know a lot of people don't, but chris@christophercuozzo.com is the email address. Website is christophercuozzo.com. And I'm very easy to get in touch with. I answer rather promptly.
You do. Chris,
thanks, Lon.
I appreciate your
buddy,
time,
man. You asked a great question, and this was great, man. This was rewarding for me too to go back down memory lane and think about all this. Gives me an appreciation and a lot of gratitude. So thanks, man.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Appreciate it.